Here we are again. Long time no see, everybody. I do have to give you a quick warning. If you hear crazy rumbling, I'm not in a motorcycle race or about to launch a rocket ship, but there is some crazy construction going on right outside of my house. They're like repaving a road. And as I was setting up for this stream, like everything started rumbling. So I was like, oh, shoot. So if you hear rumbling, I'm okay. It's not an earthquake. It's not an avalanche. I'm fine. It's just road work being done. But happy Wednesday, everyone. For those of you who saw my last two streams yesterday, man, I'm tired. But I'm also really excited. Like, there's a whole string of streams happening. And it's been super excited to kind of build on that momentum. Please don't get used to the idea that I will be streaming as much as this. But for sure, I've been excited about this. I know you guys, a lot of you guys see me, but like this, it's been so fun. Look at this. Like I just stared at that this morning when I pulled it out, but this is from my master study drawing that I'm doing, and I'm just really excited about it. It turned out so cool. Sometimes when you draw so late in the middle of the night and you think you're doing good, and then you wake up early in the morning or the next morning or later in the day as it was, because we were already in the morning when we left. But you wake up and you look at what you drew and you're like, it's not as good as I remember it right before I went to bed. But I had a big smile on my face when I woke up this morning and came down to my office and looked at that and was just so happy of what we were able to accomplish last night and just kind of the fun we had making it. So very excited. And then I was like, cool, then I got another stream tomorrow. Got to go get some comics and get in another stream tomorrow to talk about them. So, and I have an unboxing to do, which will be the first thing we'll get to. So yeah, lots to do. Even after doing 2 streams in a row yesterday, there's still so much more to do. So I'm very, 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 very excited. Excited to be here with all of you guys. All of you guys jumping in here. Half of you guys, I don't know how the heck you are awake right now. I had 2 cups of coffee already just to get me awake and jazzed. But I don't know how some of you guys are doing it because we were up pretty late. I think we were up till 1:30 my time, was it? So 4:30 some people's times. For those of you on the East Coast, and Katie, I know she was up. I mean, it was totally different time zone for her in the UK, but yeah, it was crazy hours. And after all that, Shanth, who I don't think he's here in the chat yet, or will show up, but he texted me and he was like, hey, you want to talk? And I'm like, I'm so dead. I can't. He's funny. He can go another like hour. I think he was just kind of fluffing his feathers a little bit just to prove that he has way more stamina than I do. But it was awesome to see him in the stream yesterday and just to talk with him. So who's here? John is here. Okay, let me know if you can hear it.
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
Guys, did you hear that, John? Did that work? John is here. Cranberry Landers is here. You're not showing up in my comments, but I will. Oh, here it is. It's weird. It jumbles it up a little bit. Cranberry Landers is here.
This is a cranberry full of power.
I know Cranberry popped in really quickly yesterday and just said, I had to go. I'm going to bed, but glad to see you here. And it seems like based on some of your comments this morning, you were able to watch a little bit of that stream. That stream I didn't realize that stream last night was over 3 hours. Like it's still, according to YouTube, it's still processing on my end. So that was a long one, but it was fun. Time flew when we were just having fun. So it was good times. Here we go. Mr. Monkey Boy. Okay. Can you hear it on this setup over here?
How do you say monkey in French?
I hope you could hear that. I definitely have a better setup on this side of my room on this computer. So, but little things are different, and I had to adjust little things differently on that side. So it's always like this question of like, oh, is it gonna work? Did I redo this? Did I forget to press this on this side? What side am I? What computer? It's all confusing. One of these days, hopefully I'll get one setup that is as flexible to be able to do all of the things. But right now, it's two different setups, but we're making it work. I believe Cranberry Landers, I just saw it says the sound effects are working. John did hear it. Excellent, excellent. I'm glad. I am so glad that that has worked itself out. Who else? Let's see. Coming in with the positivity. Awesome one.
Yes, that's awesome.
And the singing. That dude. Awesome one. You were there till the bitter end yesterday. You hung in there. And did I just read that you are tired? Here we go. Yeah, Rocky was like, man, I need to catch up on my videos. I want to watch and ignore chat for 30 minutes time. Oh, boy. And he was it 3 or 4 a.m.? Is that what you're saying, awesome one? Yeah, it was late. It was late. But appreciate the support, the late night support. Who else we got in here? Mr. Monkey Pie said, Mark's music obsession working, but we'll listen till he gets home. MMO, what's up? Hope you're having a rockin' day. And I hope, let me know if the closed captioning is working. I couldn't get it to work on the other side. We'll figure it out. We always figure it out. It might take a weird path to get there, but we always figure it out. All right, let me see. Oh, here she is. Chat Ninja, Comrade Sammy. Wow, we are just nailing the sound effects here. We got them all lined up here. John, that's an excellent question. I too wonder if the Chat Ninja will make it. I think Comrade, what time did you go to bed, Comrade Sammy? Because if I recall correctly, about half an hour before I ended yesterday, you were like, I'm drinking some coffee. I'm caffeinating right now. So how long did it take you to wind down and go to bed? I'd love to know that. Awesome one. I am not going to put that up on the screen, that comment. What? No rocket ship? I'm out. Yeah, that would be cool if I could launch in a rocket ship, but no, it's just, I mean, there are these cool machines outside where, you know, they're steamrolling the pavement and like pulling up the gravel, and there's like tow trucks everywhere blocking my driveway, everything. It's pretty crazy. But I was able to get out and in of my house okay while they were doing that stuff. They were really courteous about doing that. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully at the end of this stream, or at least at the end of the day, we'll have a nice new paved road outside there. So let's see. Who says? Comrade Sammy, you look fresh-faced, Cranberry Langers says. The page looks great. Thank you, Cranberry Langers. Yeah, I'm really excited. I actually probably, even after this stream, will probably just sit down at the desk. No stream, nothing. But probably just sit at the desk and draw a little bit more, ink a little bit more. Hold on, I just got to respond to this one thing. So yeah, but thank you, Cranberry. I'm really excited about how it's coming out too, and I cannot wait to see it finished and just done. And I was talking with some of you guys yesterday on the stream of like, what are we gonna do? What am I gonna do with this page afterwards? Like, could I auction it off? Maybe it could be a cool, auction, or could I sell it? Would people buy something that's a master copy of something else? I don't know. It's all up in the air, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to figure that out, that aspect of it out too, because I plan on doing a lot more than just that one page. Plan on just consistently starting to do these studies, so there'll just be more original pages that'll come out of it. Sound effects are working. Oh, Adam's here. What's up, Adam? Adam's been showing up. Everybody say hello to Adam. Adam has been showing up quite a bit. And I appreciate him showing up. Love the inking streams. Thank you, sir. I'm loving them too, and I'm glad that you're getting something out of it. Yeah, it's great. It's great to kind of hear people's feedback on it and just see the results themselves myself. I'm getting so much out of it myself. So the fact that you guys are getting something out of it too is that much more. Let's see. Loving the inking streams. Let me fix it. What are we talking about here? Fix what? John said Katie was painting earlier. I looked to see if Hobby Lobby was in England too. No, they are not. I think Hobby Lobby, I mean, from what I know, they're predominantly in the South. But there is, I'm pretty sure, let me look it up right now. I'm pretty sure there's one here that's not too far from me. I just have never visited it, but for some odd reason, I was in one location and I was like, wait, there's a Hobby Lobby here? So, yeah. There's a Hobby Lobby about half an hour away from me. I'm going to have to hit that Hobby Lobby and stock up on some of my Hobby Lobby brand brushes. Well, they're not brand brushes, but the ones I got from Hobby Lobby, because that one is working really good for me. I'm supposed to get my replacement for the Winsor Newton sometime this week. So we'll give it another shot. But if Winsor Newton can't pull it out of the, not out of the fire, pull it out of their own butt, like get their act together, I'm sticking with the Hobby Lobby. Like, why not? It's like a 20th of the cost. Mark's Music Obsession says, I'm in the house and CC is working. Excellent. Wow, all the tech gods are smiling down on me right now. Maybe I shouldn't prematurely say that because something will eventually blow up. But thank you, tech gods, for letting this go smoothly with sound, with closed captioning, and with a nice picture. So well done. Mark's saying hello. It was 4:30 in the morning for John. Man. And CC is working. Excellent. 5 a.m. was when Comrade Sammy went to bed. Oof. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it right behind my eyes. There's this like slight dull ache, which means, and I just had an afternoon coffee, so it means I'll probably have to hit maybe a not so strong cup, but a third cup after the stream or something, just to take that ache away. But that ache is like, you have not slept. And this morning, the first thing when I wear contacts, and this morning when I first put contact in my left eye, there was a cat hair or something. I don't even think it was cat hair. I think it was a human hair was stuck in my eye, and it hurt like the dickens. And I was like, it was like my eyes were already tired from not sleeping well, and then to stick like a hair in it was not the greatest way to wake up. John says, man, it feels good to be caffeinated. Oh my goodness. Courteous construction workers, no such thing. No, they were really nice. They were very nice. They realized, I mean, they're just blocking all driveways on our streets. So yeah, they moved away very quickly. All right, let's see. John says, more caffeine, something I've read about called slip or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Adam is still sans wrench. Just saying. Adam, would you like a wrench? You've been like jumping in here, really engaged. I can wrench you. I think John's goal is to have everybody in my stream wrenched. Is that the goal, John? We got to be like discriminate. Not that I wouldn't wrench you, Adam, but we got to be discriminate here, right? We can't just wrench everybody. Like, we got to keep it special for the core team here. But I'm happy to give you a wrench, Mr. Adam, if you would like one, because for sure you've been showing up and giving some great comments and feedback. So I appreciate that and would gladly reward that with a highly coveted wrench that everybody has on my stream. Hobby Lobby in San Francisco, probably needed there. No, it's not. I don't think Hobby Lobby. I think Hobby Lobby, if it tried to step in to San Francisco, would probably get burned, like, or turn into dust or something if it tried to cross the borders of San Francisco. It's just outside of the city, not too far away. So I'm going to go hunting for that and hunting for more brushes, hopefully soon. Let's see. A dull ache means you're healthy and should sleep even less. Oh, okay, good. Nice. I'm on track. Trust me. I trust you, Cranberry.
This is a cranberry, full of power.
You're full of power, man. I am a scientist of human body. Awesome one says, I've done inventory for Hobby Lobby. Everything is typed in, no scanning. Really? Okay. That sounds very inefficient. John, wrench the planet. He would if he could. You did tell Cherish and Adam you wrenched them if they continued. Cherish won you over with her charm at the moment. I get a wrench? Yes. Let's do it. I'm going to give you a wrench. Hang on. You guys are just on me. Here it comes, Adam. Get ready. Let's go. Adam, you are officially wrenched. Welcome to the party. Wait, let me give you something here. There we go. Everybody, congratulations, Adam. You are wrenched for the channel. That means absolutely nothing other than you can post links that would actually show up as links. And in the event that one of these yahoos starts saying crazy things, you can block them for me. And you can also, what else can they do? I don't know. There's some secret handshake, I think. Free comics come to your doorstep every Tuesday, right before Free Comic Book Day. I mean, right before New Comic Book Day Wednesday. It's like amazing. The mod squad is complete. Congrats, Adam. Woohoo. Also new, Blood Hunt comic today. Funny you should mention. There is a new Blood Hunt comic today, and I did get it. So we'll talk about that today. That's what today is for. If this was the other setup, I'd be drawing as we speak, but no, it's not. We're focusing on other people's comics today. Welcome to the Mod Squad. Links. That's one beautiful wrench. There we go. We only have the best wrenches here on this channel. You are welcome. You are welcome, my friend. All right, let's get to it because we do have many books. Not many books, but we have quite a few books. Always more than I think every week. And it also was great that I got this package in the mail because I think I know what it is, but I'll open that first and we'll get started. Cranberry Langers says, millions and millions of free dollars, tax-free, of course. Yeah, we're all millionaires here because we're part of this stream. If more people knew about it, man, they'd realize. Be millionaires. Alrighty, here we go. I got this. When did I get this? What, end of the weekend? Not too long ago, a couple days ago. And I haven't gotten a package in the mail. Believe it or not, I haven't gotten a package in the mail recently. Maybe in about a week. Oh, this is double bubble wrapped. It's nice. The protection's nice. Oh, wow, this is not, I think I'm pretty sure I bought this used, but this is not even open. Or is it? No, it's still shrink wrapped. So I've often told you guys that I am not a DC guy. So much so. I grew up more a Marvel guy. But look at this bad boy. There's few things that that I'll buy, at least older things for DC that I'll actually plunk down to buy. And I saw this one was on sale, and they actually had released a facsimile edition, I believe last week, of one of the issues in this miniseries, the Judas contract. And it got me remembering about this series, the new Teen Titans, that was written by Marv Wolfman and drawn by the late great George Perez. This was a classic Teen Titans story, and I actually grew up. So the way that I discovered comics, I don't know if I've ever said this before. Wow, is it just me, or like the tension points? This is crazy, Rocky Brain. The tension points of the edge of this book and the edge down here with the frame is making me crazy. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that I'm not, it's like a tangent waiting to happen. So the way that I found out about comics was, we had a family friend who, there was 4 kids in that family, and I was maybe I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And we'd go over to the family friend's house, and they had 4 kids, 2 much older boys and then 2 girls, and the youngest girl was closer in age to me. She was probably a couple years older than I was. So we would always go over and we'd play and, watch movies together and whatever kids did at that age. But her 2 older brothers were really into comics. And so she got exposed to comic books. And I can't remember what the conversation was or how we got talking, but she was like, "Do you want to look at my brother's comics?" And I was like, "Okay." And I started flipping through them. And one of the first issues I saw was a Jack Kirby Fantastic Four. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, what is this art form? Like, this is amazing." And I remember just sitting in their bedroom, and they had like long boxes that they pulled out from under their bed. And I would just go through all of their comics and just read them. So every time it ended up like every time we would go and visit this friend's house, and the parents would talk and do whatever they did, they'd go bowling together or whatever, and the kids would stay back, I would just go in this room and read this older brother's comics. He was way older than I was, so we didn't really connect socially. But his sister, my friend, she would sit down and read the comics as well. So I got exposed to so many different comics. I definitely recall that Jack Kirby comic. I remember at the time she was really into, like, Princess Amethyst was a comic that she was into. But this was one of the series that I was exposed to while I was learning about comics through them, is this Teen Titans. And the time period was exactly this Judas contract. So this story is really, is pretty grown up and pretty dark, actually, because there's like a cult, like a blood cult in here, and people die. But I remember being so impacted by the story and the artwork. And this was the Teen Titans that I knew and grew up with. Like, this character Raven, she was so dark. She's like, I think her dad is like a demon or something, and she would always be wrestling with trying to keep that under control. And it was just such a crazy, amazing story, and I loved it. I loved it because the characters there was high stakes in the characters. It wasn't just campy comic book action. There was, life and death situations, and there were really cool characters. And so I would even argue that this kind of story felt more like a Marvel story to me. And this is before I even had distinguished between Marvel and DC and the kind of different stories that they were telling. Later on, Uncanny X-Men became my book. I loved it. You guys have seen some of my past streams that I've done with my childhood friends talking about my love for that time period, Uncanny X-Men, Chris Claremont, all those stories, because they were so real. They were so adult. But I feel like this era and this particular short story or miniseries of the Judas contract felt more like the comics that I would eventually love. George Perez just recently died. The biggest, I mean, he's been a Wonder Woman artist and, a big time DC artist. I mean, look at that, like brother blood, and he's like standing in a pool of blood in a cult. Like that's not necessarily what I would think you should let 7 or 8 year olds read, but it was so cool. And I turned out fine, right? Right? Look at this. This is horrifying. I haven't read this series in like decades. But this was totally influenced by, you could tell it was influenced by like Indiana Jones, Raiders, Temple of Doom. But yeah, George Perez was a legend, and he definitely drew more DC. His career was more focused on DC, but he could draw like crazy good. And most of you might know his history of being the artist on Crisis of Infinite Earths, which was the big world-shattering, obliterating DC multi-book event. I have a copy of that here. Let me get it. And I've heard many stories about George Perez, how he's like he was the nicest guy, really generous with his time. And same writer, Marv Wolfman, but Crisis on Infinite Earths, like, yeah, this was just epic. He drew all the characters, all the things, all the worlds, This is like one of the most iconic classic DC images. Very cool. The death of Supergirl. And so this is just an epic story. And yeah, he was. I mean, I'm pretty sure Crisis on Infinite Earths came later after this one, but George Perez was so known for like all the detail, and he would just jam pack like so much detail and texture and panels onto one page. Like look how many panels he's just jamming in here. This standard page is 9 panels, but he's like cramming them in these really vertical compositions. This is amazing. This is amazing. It's so scary and frightening. And the inker is Romeo Tangal. I believe he's a Filipino inker. Like this, like he was really good at debris and rocks, and I love it. I am so excited to read this because this is my childhood. This is a big part of my childhood right now. And like I said, I haven't read it in decades. I almost want to say I haven't read the whole series through since I was a kid. So it'd be awesome to read this through my eyes, my adult eyes now. Amazing Starfire. He's a great Starfire artist, George Perez. Whew. She was such a great, I mean, as a young boy. But yeah, his characters were just so real. The stories were so real, and they weren't just fighting all the time and these big action things. They were having, and this is why I feel like it paved the path for me to really enjoy Chris Claremont's run on Uncanny X-Men. Because it was just this real life stuff, but they were wrestling with real issues that were relatable. And then they'd get, wow, look at that. That is an awesome splash page. That is so cool. Even the movie version of Cyborg did not feel this cool. This is awesome. Wow, I don't even remember that splash. Really cool. Look at these layouts. Excellent. And his faces were all so individual. Like they felt really unique, each of the characters. It wasn't like a stock comic face that some artists do. Like all the girls all kind of look the same and have the same hairstyles and stuff. Like each one of his characters looked so different and had personality. And Deathstroke was such a cool character too. He wasn't just a nameless villain. Like he had this whole backstory, which I don't even remember. There he is. I'm sorry, not Terminator. They called him Terminator. But then he went by Deathstroke, I believe. Because Terminator was too confusing with the Terminator movie. That's a great design. Like, it's so cool that this side of his face is all black. He doesn't have an eye there. And the reason, too, is because when he takes the mask off, he's one-eyed. It's awesome. Okay, wait. I totally saw the chat going crazy. So, welcome to the Mod Squad. Bande dessinée. Teen Titans. John says we'll need to go into lurk mode for now. No problem, John. This is the one where Slade and Tara are like together. Yes, I believe so. Well, the story surround is kind of focused on Tara when she dies at the end, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, she dies at the end. There you go. Like, that's those kind of stakes, and I don't know if she comes back. I didn't track much after this, but those kind of actually, no, I did read other issues of Teen Titans because I remember following the story around Raven and her dad. But my recollection of like DC and what's happened in the universe is really vague. Like I don't have as much attachment to it. But anyway, I was very excited to buy this and to see it on sale and to order this deluxe edition because it's bigger size than a regular comic book or a regular graphic novel. So just to get this deluxe edition of it, there's no extras or anything afterwards. Yeah, there it is. There's Tara's gravestone. Great spreads. I love it. It was a totally different era of comic book art. And George Perez, he was one of one. Like, nobody drew and approached comic books or comic book art like he did. There's people that tried to mimic what he did, but before him, he just kind of broke the mold a little bit. Like, look how many panels are in this. But I never felt like it was like you see comic books today that have way too many panels crammed in and they don't have a sense of rhythm or storytelling. They're just trying to jam pack too much information at once. But I never felt that about George Perez's stuff. Like I felt like, yeah, he would put in a lot of panels, but there was a reason for him. And somehow the way that he paced them out, whether it was his shot selection or the moments he chose to pick, chose to show, the moments he picked, didn't ever feel like the action was like, or the story was too crammed into the page. It just felt really full and rich and deep. Man, that's good. I'm excited. It's a good one. Jericho. He was a weird character. I was never into his like sideburns. Nightwing. Pretty fruity costume, Nightwing. Not the best rendition of your costume. But it was a sign of the times. Sign of the times. This is a great, amazing spread. Awesome. So good. There we go. New Teen Titans. Judas contract. Teen Titans books were always really dark. It must be Marv Wolfman too, I'd say. I mean, Marv Wolfman and George Perez had quite a long run, if I'm not mistaken, on Teen Titan, the new Teen Titans. And then to see it like, I think maybe it was Emo Trash on one of our other streams that I was talking about. We were talking about Teen Titans or whatever, and to see that version of Teen Titans, and don't get me wrong, I like the animated version. Like I like Glenn Murakami and his rendition of stuff, but this was the Teen Titans that I grew up with. So, and they are older. You know, they're like teens to young adults in this rendition, and they aged them way down for the animated series, and then it just kind of went along that path. So it always felt like, it's too kiddie. But like for them to wrestle with the stuff they did here, this was almost in line of like the X-Men as far as their ages, and it was for sure a competitor with Marvel, that demographic, and you can see why. Cool stuff though. New Teen Titans. Woo. Excited about that one. All right. So let me catch up here, and then Raven's father was a demon or Satan. Yeah, it was something really dramatic like that. He was definitely otherworldly, and it was just awesome because she would like stay to herself and be very detached from the rest of the group. And the reason why is because she knew she had this like Triton. Yes, awesome one. Thank you. That's right. She would have this fear that her true self was going to come out. That's a great tension. Children can be soldiers, so these books are nothing. Right? This makes sense why Rocky was pulled into animal dismemberment cartoon. Lots of blood. You're always going to hold that over my head. I wasn't excited to work on that series. It was fun. I knew the creators. It was fun. He's talking about, someone's talking about Happy Tree Friends. I worked on many episodes of that and good friends with the creators of that show. So yes, cute characters getting mutilated, but it was a little different than Teen Titans. Cranberry Land just says, I didn't like Crisis on Infinite Earths. Really? I mean, I liked it in that it was so epic. But I wasn't as connected with the DC characters, so it didn't impact me as much as some Marvel stuff did, like Follow the Mutants or even Inferno. But I enjoyed Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was epic. It was totally epic. Awesome one. Really loved Crisis. Yeah. Some great pages, though. I hated the huge amount of details. Really? Oh, interesting. You're the first person to hear that I heard. Didn't like Perez's details. Green Boy and Blonde Girl gonna get it on. Yeah, the details were the best part. It was classic George Perez. Like he must have. I'm almost positive his pencils were crazy tight because no matter who inked him, they would always end up looking like that. And so now that I'm just inking that one page, I can't imagine what the inkers were thinking or having to go through to ink George Perez because it was super detailed. I think I'm able to see it through your guys' eyes now. I could see really loving his work. Yeah, try reading it again. You know, I mean, as I got older, like there's certain things that I skipped or wasn't into when I was a kid that I reread now as an adult. Like Death of Superman was one of those series. I really was not interested at all because I was so enamored with Marvel, and Image Comics at the time was launching at the same year that Death of Superman happened. And so all my eyes and all my attention were on Image and the Image guys and just how cool their artwork was and all these cool characters and everything was in your face. So I didn't bother even reading Death of a Superman. And then when I read it now, like about a few months ago, I was like, wow, this was, it's not Image, but there was some good stuff in there and I enjoyed it. And I was like, I kind of missed out on that, experiencing that as a kid. So I would say, Cranberry, go back and reread stuff that maybe you weren't into before and see if your taste changed. Cran was just upset the Crisis book cover wasn't a puzzle drawn by... Wow. That is some crazy threads you're putting together there, dude. Especially the hair reminds me of ramen noodle. I can see that. He definitely drew every single strand of hair that he could. But that's what made his artwork so cool. What is that shadow? That's bugging me. Oh, I think it's the stand. Sorry. Currently cooking pasta for the stir fry. Nice. Good choice. I could see liking his work if he came from comics in the 60s, 70s. It'd be a lot more realistic and exciting. Are you saying I'm old? Is that what you're saying? Nightwing looking like he about to get lit in the light. What's up, Cherish Psalms? Oh my gosh. Colors for this comic are nice and vibrant. Yeah. It's a different era. It's a different era. And I love it. I love computer coloring and everything that Photoshop has given to comics. Digital comic coloring and blah, blah. But there's something about the way colors are on books like this that hit differently for me. Big collars were a turn on to the ladies. Yeah, I guess. John Travolta, that's right. Staying alive. This is ironic considering you don't like horror. Gore makes me feel weak, so there's only so much I can take. Yeah, I think the horror aspect of... Yeah, why is that? I mean, I think I like it enough. I mean, not like it enough. I think in that case, like the horror in that case wasn't... I'd argue it's not gratuitous. It's meant to like set the scene, much like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Those guys, like, it's very clear who the bad guys are and why they're bad and the stakes of how deadly they could be or how much harm they could bring to the heroes. So it just painted the picture of like, these are some bad dudes, you know, the stakes are high. It's not just like, I'm gonna get you and your little dog kind of villain. It's like, no, this guy will sacrifice you to his god. Like, that's frightening. And so when they set up that story and then you throw the characters that you love into it and they have to battle that and kind of survive through that, then you're really invested because you're like, this is scary. So I don't feel like that horror was gratuitous. I'm not really into horror, like scary horror stories necessarily. Frightening, like, at least when it comes to movies, like jump scare stuff. I'm not really into those kind of horror movies. Ghost horror things are cool. I know a lot of people like ghost stories. I'm not a big ghost horror story person, so there's a little bit of fine line. Maybe it's hypocritical or contradictory, but that's how I see it, at least. I could see George Perez's artwork being a whole new world. Yeah. People are usually impressed by a lot of detail. This is interesting. Let's do a study on people who like a lot of detail in art and those who don't. You know, that's a great point, Cherish Psalms, because I just look at my own tastes, my own range of tastes. So because of my background and working in animation, and I've mentioned this for sure, and just my natural tendencies, the style of stuff gets simplified for production, and that's really the reason why things get super simplified in at least American animation production, because in order to recreate the artwork many times over, because 24 frames a second, you're doing all these drawings and everything for X amount of time length, screen time, it's a lot of work. And then to find people that can draw that at that skill level is a lot of work. So there's always been this natural simplification of design through animation, so that you can move it around and do all these kind of things with it. So not so complicated. There are animators who can do very complicated drawings. Look at the Japanese, right? A lot of their anime can be super complicated. And I think I look at Akira now. That came out in the 80s, and I still think nothing tops that movie, because the level of draftsmanship and skill level that they were able to do hand drawn way before computers could simplify their jobs is astounding, is absolutely mind-blowing, and it still looks better than 90% of the new stuff coming out now. It's still more compelling. So, I mean, you can look at some, like, I can even pull out, these are some crazy, incredible books. These are called the Otomo Complete Works, for just the storyboards in Akira. Okay, these are, and he was the one, Otomo himself, the comic book artist Otomo, did all the storyboards for Akira. But let me zoom in here because this will blow your mind. Storyboards are just supposed to be like, people think, oh, you're just kind of getting the idea down and don't focus so much on the details. But the level of, yeah, it's simplified, but the level of like draftsmanship in his boards, and he's a comic artist by trade before, before he got into animation. This is just like, is gross how good this is. And there were certain sequences in here that they would do. Like, I think of the motorcycle sequence, the classic iconic motorcycle sequence in Akira. I think of the sequence. Let me see if I can even find the motorcycle sequence in here. The sequence where, yeah, here it is. The sequence where Kaneda, or is it Tetsuo? I always get those guys confused. He starts, like, his body starts mutating. Those sequences are all hand drawn, and they don't skimp on that. Here's that classic scene. The motorcycle comes out. And they do these things, like, if you go back and watch it, like, especially in this motorcycle sequence, they'll do, like, not just camera moves. There's no, like, computer camera moves. They're, like, hand-drawn camera moves where things are scaling up in frame and coming at the camera. It's unbelievable. But it makes it so visceral and real and incredible. Like, look at this. This is his storyboard drawings. Multiple characters, very complicated angles, really cinematic, amazing expressions. Yeah, beautiful. I have some other stuff. I won't get it, but he's even plotting out like the spacing, the scaling, the perspective on these bikes skidding in, just in his storyboard. I'm like, what the? I'm just copying somebody's drawing right now. Like, I couldn't do this. So just that level of skill. Why did I bring this up? Because, I mean, you'll run into a few cases where they go super complicated for animation. But for the most part, there's a simplification that happens. So I think of Bruce Timm, right? Like, he takes the classic Batman and he did such a brilliant job of like simplifying that through a Kirby influenced, Alex Toth influence, Fleischer influence, and simplifying it to its essence, and then coming out with Batman the Animated Series, which is one of my all-time favorite animated series. And I love that style. And Bruce Timm himself is a fantastic comic book artist. Should I pull out some of the stuff he did? Yeah, why not? This is a good example, and this is a good example. I actually added a few more shelves in my room. There's this, I used to have, I don't know if you guys remember, could go back and watch previous streams. I used to have, there's nothing here. I would have some comic book boxes, just loose boxes behind me, and then I would put a little light strip on top of it to add some backlighting here. But now I put a couple new shelves, and I have this extra bar of light, and I actually have another light coming for the other side. But why did I say all that? Oh, I said all that because look at me. No, I said all that because I have I'm storing some of my books and comics here now, so I won't always have to get up and go get them. I'll just turn around and find them. But so yeah, things are evolving here in Rocky Ballesteros Studios. Okay, wait, let me show you here. Okay, let me catch up on the chat for a second. Where are we at? Oh yeah, Cherish Psalm said people are. Thank you, Cherish Psalm. That was actually an emo trash move. Almost derailed the stream, but no, it wasn't a derail. Actually, you hyper focused the stream. People are usually impressed by a lot of details. So, as I'm thinking about my own style, my own why I like comics, I'm constantly assessing and just kind of evaluating what is it do I like? What would I like my own book to look like? What do I like my artwork to look like in comics? Blah, 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 blah. And I can chameleon to a bunch of different styles. And part of the training of being a commercial artist and working in animation, you got to like jump from style to style. And so Bruce Timm, right? I love his style. And I look at it, and again, he's a phenomenal comic artist. This is a great book to get. This is going to sound crazy. It's like a coloring book. DC came out with these coloring books, like an adult, quote unquote, coloring book. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why would I want to sit down and color comics that I love? But when you look at this one, they came out one for Batman Mad Love, which is the first appearance and creation of Harley Quinn in comics, written by Paul Dini, Bruce Timm. They produced it to be colored like a coloring book, but essentially what they produced was a black and white artist edition of this. And you could buy this for like $7, or how much did I pay? Oh, it's the price listed was $15.99, but I know I paid way less for that because it was like, oh, it's a coloring book, it's on sale. But it's a full black and white version of the story Mad Love, which is one of Bruce Timm's best comic works. And then they have a few other stories that he did, but they're all in black and white. So it's like an artist edition without being an artist edition. It's not the actual scans of the pencil work, but it's still really cool to have in black and white. But so if you look at this, Bruce Timm is a great, he's a student of comic books. He knows his comic books. He knows how to tell a story. And I love this story that he told. And it's something that I could look at over and over again. His style, even though his style is really simple, his storytelling is amazing. His gestures are amazing. And you can see all the animation training influence being pumped into this. He is one of the few artists that have this simple style that I pour over his work. Darwin Cook is another one. And but there are other artists. I won't name names because I don't want to like point out stuff. I actually saw something on the rack today that reminded me of this very discussion about comic style. But there are several other artists who, whether or not they have a background in animation or just naturally draw in a simplified way, that do comics. And when I first look at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And wow, it's got an animated style. But I realize those books, I don't go back to that often. Like it'll give me an impression on first sit down, but then now that I think about it, one of the books I have here kind of has that. So we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But yeah, it's not the artwork that I'll go back and just like pour over and just look at because the artistry of it. I'll go back because the story's good or the storytelling is good. And Bruce Timm's an exception. Darwin Cook is an exception because those guys I can go back and look at over and over again. But the other people that have a quote unquote animated style or animators who are doing comics, I rarely pour over their artwork. I'll look at it and say, that's beautiful. Wow, that's great. Neat style. And then I'll be done with it. And so I don't know, is that simple? Is it because it's so simple? Maybe. Because the stuff that I remember growing up as a kid that I would look at, like spend hours just staring at one panel, would be like Todd McFarlane, and when Stephen Platt came out, like Stephen Platt stuff, like that guy could not stop adding another line to his drawing. It was just like detail on top of detail on top of detail, almost too much detail, but I mean, not almost, definitely too much detail, but it was just like, as a kid, you're just so excited to just see all the detail, even though it was confusing half the time. But yeah, so it's made me ask a lot of questions about my own artwork and how I would approach comic book art. I think I'm going to be somewhere as a balance in the middle, and there's artists that do that as well. But yeah, I think it's, one, what's your natural style? Two, the art form of it. So as I'm doing this master study, it's really teaching me to appreciate the artistry, not just the comic page and the telling of the story, but just like each mark that you put down and how that's crafted and the intentionality behind that. All those kind of things make me appreciate it more. And I think I want that with the artwork that I produce myself. I want people to be able to appreciate not just the simplification of the story or the cool style, but I want them to appreciate the artistry, the craft that goes into it. Does that make sense? That was a long-winded answer to Chair Psalm's point, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. And I didn't even open this, but I'll show you. This was a compilation called Captain America Red, White, and Blue. Came out shortly after 9/11, so there's definitely a 9/11 vibe, like people reflecting on 9/11 in this. And they got all these different artists to contribute. It's kind of like the anthologies that they do for, Marvel Zombies or Deadpool, Black, White, and Red or whatever. So anyway, Bruce Timm did a short story in this, and look at his artwork in here. And the whole shtick is that they only used red, white, and blue to color. Every artist that worked on it just colored their stories in red, white, and blue. But this is fun. This is like all the Kirby coming out of Bruce Timm's work right here. And it's more detailed than his animated stuff, but it's still, his style, his very, very distinct style. Because Captain America is awesome. It's like this huge, that's so good. Anyway, this is Paul Pope. Paul Pope's another artist I want to talk about one day. Such a unique artist. Peter Cooper. This Kirby stuff. I haven't looked at this in a long time. All right. Don't get distracted. Too late. All right, let me catch up. I'm sure I'm behind on... I'm totally derailed. Where's Emo Trash? Cranberry Lander says, I dislike Kirby less now. I used to absolutely hate his work. Same. I actually used to hate his work too. I went through a phase. I think I really liked it at the beginning, and then I really hated it because I was like, this is weird. All these characters look weird. They all have weird expressions. But now I love Kirby. Kirby's the king. He really is the king. I'm saying I'm old, but I'm holding together well. You're making me want to go to the library, get some comics. Might have to go tomorrow. There you go. Boom. Booyah. That's the point. That's the point. Comics are incredible, guys. If you think about it, before comics were a disposable medium, I hate using that term, but whatever, mainstream medium, disposable medium, or disposable form of entertainment. People, like civilization, in order to enjoy art, would see it in their culture. They would see it in their paintings, right? So it's not like you could just go out to the library or whatever was the equivalent of the library back in ancient culture and go check out a book on the painting. It's like you would have to you'd have to be very, very wealthy, or you would be surrounded in the buildings and the churches, right? Most of the artwork was in churches back then. But comic books and the artistry that goes into it, this is not all comic books, but the ones that are the pinnacle of what comic art could be or has been, and just the language that's created. That stuff is so available to us and so affordable. Not to me, because I spend way too much on comics, and a lot of people do, but it's art. It is a form of art that we have access to and that can take us to wherever we want to go, wherever the comic artist or the creator will take us. That's incredible. That's an incredible gift to have access to. And like Chair Shalms just mentioned, it's similar to where I live. The libraries now have so much comic content that they carry. And I know many of you guys say, oh, I can't buy comics right now, it's too expensive. And I hear you. I totally hear you. It's a very expensive habit to get hooked on, because it's a weekly habit, and so many good things are coming out. So I would just encourage you, like, go to your libraries and check out books, because it's available. I mean, you can borrow stuff digitally now. Like, I know our library, if you download the app Hoopla, you can look at stuff for free digitally. But it's just amazing that it's just accessible, and you can expose yourself to beautiful stories, beautiful art making, and be inspired by that. So go do it. Go do it. I'm so happy to hear that, Chair Psalms. Cranberry Lander says, I disliked his work. I'm assuming this is Kirby, because it seemed like there was an imbalance of details and no details in George Perez's work. And no details in Joe. I dislike his work because it seemed like there was an imbalance of details and no details in George Perez's work. I thought it should be detailed throughout or lessened in the more detailed areas. I see. Especially with the figures, yeah. Rocky, how many deers and goats did you dress to prepare for... You are crazy. Mr. Dragon, hey, how are you? How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Talking about comics, and more comics, and just being exposed to comics. So hope you're ready. Cranberry Lander says Akira in many anime was nuts with the detail. That's right. Akira, I think of Ghost in the Shell, all the classics. Wicked City, Ninja Scroll. If you go back, and all the Miyazaki movies, if you go back and look at the hand-drawn artistry in those movies, and consider that each one of those, there are 24 drawings, 24 images per second of entertainment. And you're talking about a movie, 90 minutes, 88 minutes, or a TV show, 30 minutes. And you multiply that by the number of drawings, and that's just the characters, and then there's the background paintings, and the level of artistry is mind-blowing, especially for those older ones now, right? Where there's no computer support to really like do some of the heavy lifting on the things that nobody wanted to draw. It's like they were just drawing everything. So it's awesome to look back on and just be inspired by. I'm late because I was at the beach. Wow, cool. No, that's a good reason to be late. It is pro-socialism, so that takes it down a notch for me. Akira, great film though. Oh, I see the story. Yeah, I mean, it did have for sure political undertones a little bit. I mean, I never really picked up on that. I just saw it as this, like, as a kid at least, I just saw it as this unbelievable sci-fi tale that was incredibly executed and very engaging. Weird. Very engaging characters, and the designs are just the vision for Neo Tokyo and what the future looked like permanently affected me from that movie. The bike is a great design. drawing that in all the perspective and the speed and the mechanics, like they knew how that thing worked mechanically, and that had not, it's not like they had a 3D model or like reference to figure that out. It was like all from their imagination. They were referencing things, but from their imagination of how that worked. The weight of that bike. I remember there's certain sequences in it where they're just like starting up the bike or like getting into the bike. Ooh, gosh, so amazing. Mr. Dragon, I spend lots of time at the beach. Yep, Mark's near the water himself. Great place. I'm actually not a big beach person. If we're just being real here, I'm not. I don't like the sand, but I do love the water. Cool thing about Akira style is that the characters themselves are heavily detailed, so other things outside of them can have more detail. Also, you can distinguish them from the background. Yeah, I mean, they are simplified. Some things are simplified to a certain extent, like you're saying, but it the level was way up here. Like if American animation was like, oh, we're simplifying. There's some crazy American animation. Richard Williams is I believe no. Richard Williams is American, and I think he just worked in the UK for a while. He was the one who did A Thief and the Cobbler. There's a whole history of that movie. He spent years and years and years of his life independently producing that film while he was working on like commercials and, Disney features and whatnot. And he spent a lot of his money producing this independent feature called The Thief and the Cobbler, the way he wanted to do it. And then it ended up at the very end, they basically like the producers or the financiers that he was connected with took it back, and he was unfinished. He was like maybe 80% finished, and they kind of finished the rest of the film. They got some like second studio to come in and finish the gaps, and totally screwed him over and messed it up. So there was always, at least when I was coming up in the animation world, there was always these bootleg copies of Richard Williams' untouched, film where the sequences that weren't finished were just like storyboard form or just rough animation. And it was the way Richard Williams wanted to do it. There's a rumor that a lot of the designs, a lot of the flavor, the tone of Aladdin, Disney's Aladdin, stole from Thief and the Cobbler. And if you watch Thief and the Cobbler, you can see why. But Richard Williams is another animator who's not Japanese, that guy could draw like crazy. He had a simplified style, but for Thief and the Cobbler, most of the time in animation, you're animating on 2s and 1s for like feature quality stuff, which means a drawing would be held on frame for 2 frames or 1 frame, right? So if you held it all, if every unique drawing you drew was on frame for 1 frame, it would be 24 unique drawings for a second of animation. If you're animating on 2s, there'd be 12 drawings for 1 second of animation. And but so there's a mixture of 2s and 1s, and it has to do with spacing and timing, and just depending on the action, why you would choose one over the other, and yada yada, all sorts of techniques. But Richard Williams was notorious for animating on 1s because he loved the way that looked. It's almost like the difference, if I could describe it to this generation, is it's like watching video games on 60 FPS versus 30 FPS because there's more frames, so it looks really real and really fluid. And so Richard Williams animated most of Thief and the Cobbler, if not all, on 1s. So you can imagine the amount of pencil mileage. It's beautiful. There is just some beautiful hand-drawn stuff in there. So you could probably Google it and see it on YouTube, like original Thief and the Cobbler or Thief and the Cobbler pencil test, but really fantastic stuff. Wow, we went on an animation trip. Crazy. Katie's here again. Katie, 3 for 3. Newly wrenched Katie. How are you doing? Good evening for her. I can't keep track, but somehow our times line up. So awesome. I heard you were streaming earlier where you were painting. That's great. I'll have to go back and find that stream because I'd love to see it. Everybody's saying hello to Katie. Getting spoiled with all the Rocky streams this week. I know. I was just telling everybody, don't get used to it. I'm not going to be able to stream this regularly, but it's been fun, specifically with those master studies, to increase the amount of streaming I'm doing this week. Order up for noodles. Are you done cooking already, awesome one? Rocky said to not get used. Yeah. My closet is bigger than Artist and Jetty's. You know what? I don't think so. Knowing Sean, I think he's just got it less organized. If I were to guess, knowing my friend, my brother Sean, I'm a little bit more like, particular with my organization. And I just organized it. Like, it could get crazy and messy here too, but I just organized it, so that's why it looks a little cleaner. Katie says, too late. I'm already used to it. Jeremy Burtz is here. What's up, man? Good to see you again. It's awesome seeing all of you come in here. Cherish Psalm says, I like jumping from style to style because I'm never satisfied with one belonging. So yeah, it's great. It's great, and it's amazing. It's a good practice to do it. I think my first job was in commercial animation, and so that was the name of the game. Like, depending on what commercial you had to be, whether it's Willy Wonka or like Kentucky Fried Chicken or a Nike commercial, you had to adapt. And if you didn't adapt, and some people couldn't, like some people were too cartoony, some people were too realistic, and you couldn't adapt, then you wouldn't get hired on a particular job that was a different style than what you do. So it behooved you to be able to adapt, be adaptable as an artist. But it's great. It's really great. I'm hoping that the master studies that I continue to do, I'll be picking within a range of styles to also practice myself, like doing different styles. Archie style art. Can you modify me, please? Wow, Mr. Dragon, just coming straight out asking for it. You know what? I can. I will honor that kind of chutzpah. Where are you? I just need to find you. I can't do it off of Ecamm, which is what I'm streaming at, so I have to go through YouTube. Where are you? Mr. Dragon. Here we go. You want to be a mod? You can be a mod. There you go. Mr. Dragon. Welcome, everybody, Mr. Dragon. He is part of the mod squad. Cranberry Langer says, Bruce Timm's work is wonderful. Don't abuse the mod, Mr. Dragon. I don't even know what that would look like. But no, I'm just joking. Have fun. Yeah, I love Bruce Timm. I love his work. It's great. Katie says, pretty mushy. I'm only just stopped drawing. Katie is now the late night person. That's right. We flip-flopped with time zones. Oh my gosh. Let's see. 11:05 p.m. for Katie. Wow, that's late. How they convey more information with less detail and selected shapes. Perhaps you can't talk too much about simple artwork, but with the detailed artwork, there's more to look at. Yeah, I mean, just by nature of marks, right? Not marks like Mark Music Obsession, but actual marks on the page. By nature of having so many lines there, your eye takes a little bit longer to process that kind of stuff. So I can see that. That's totally valid. Yeah. Rocky Master Study this Mad Love. I might. I thought about it. One thing I had about conversation with Shanth off stream was Bruce Timm pretty much pared down his style down to the essence of Bruce Timm, right? So to study it would be, what more is there to learn, really? It's like what it is there. So, but it might be interesting, and he's a great comic book artist. Not all animators are great comic book artists by any means. They could have a cool style, but they could not know how to tell a sophisticated story. And Bruce Timm is really, really good at storytelling, and I think it comes from his background and his love for comics. So yeah, it might be worth it. And if I did, it would probably be out of Mad Love, because that's a great one. This is actually a very cool color, but me neither. I wouldn't want to color that either. All right, I'm way behind if Katie's talking about the coloring book. Bruce Timm does a good cap freeze for sure. Yep, it's got that Kirby-isms to it. Okay, wait. Looks like Eddie Murphy's coming to America avatar for What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. That deserves one of these.
Yes! That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Okay. I am so far behind. John knows me. I see people talking about Yorkshire. I really want to go to the UK. I've not been. I've never been, actually. The closest I've gotten is France, which isn't very close at all. I really want to go to UK, London. Would love to go to Ireland. I've heard great things about that. But yeah. All right. Well, we're talking about Cherish Shalm's profile. Okay, let me just see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you guys are talking about got your own conversation. Yes, yes, yes. Cherish Psalm. I haven't gotten to the doll saga yet. I'm almost there. Thief and the Cobbler looked amazing. Yes, it's amazing. It really is amazing. But do not watch the finished one. Watch the like pencil tests because that's true Richard Williams. Richard Williams also wrote a great book about animation instruction. It's one of the ones I recommend to people. If people want to learn animation, you always hear them talk about the Disney's book Illusion of Life, which is great, beautiful. They're the ones who started really putting to paper what techniques, the thinking of animation. I'd say Richard Williams his book is right there with Illusion of Life. Peach Cobbler, I see. It looked like Aladdin took a lot from The Thief and the Cobbler. Yep, I loved Aladdin too, but after I saw Thief and the Cobbler, I'm like, well, especially like the villain feels very much like Jafar, or Jafar feels very much like the villain in Thief and Cobbler. And the crazy thing with that, if you do watch The Thief and the Cobbler, I thought this was a brilliant creative choice. Richard Williams actually intended for the cobbler. He's got these two pins in his mouth, and they're actually he's a great designer, Richard Williams. And these two pins in his mouth are always there, and they kind of he uses them as part of his expression. So sometimes it's like his mouth, and it's awesome. But he intended for that character, the cobbler, to not speak at all. Like he was a silent, mute character. When they took that movie from him, the executives were like, that wouldn't work. That's a horrible idea. So they put an internal dialogue for the cobbler, the entire movie. So you hear him like narrate what he's thinking in his brain, and it's horrible. It's actually a really horrible choice. So it totally ruined the movie. Oh my gosh. Style jumpers. There's a schism in the chat for sure. Congratulations, Mr. Dragon. I'm so far behind. It's the wrenching. Welcome to the mod squad. Jeremy we're here for 3 seconds. I'm gonna do it. I'm loopy. All right, let's do it. Jeremy Burtz, where are you? You're just everybody. There's no more requirements. There never was, but welcome, Jeremy Burtz. You're part of the mod squad. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Cherish Psalms? Oh, you're already a mod squad. Okay. He's already a master wrench. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. Not to have people know the Thief and the Cobbler. I did notice the trick with the pin's mouth. Cool. Okay, nice. I think I'm caught up. Dang it. All right, I haven't even gotten to the comics I got today. I just did that unboxing. Here we go. Wait, let me check my messages just in case. Boom. Yes, sorry. Just got to respond. And thumbs up to that comment. Boom. All right, cool. So here we go. This was in the bargain box for I went to two stores today. I went to Comics Experience, and this is from Invisible Jet. Invisible Jet has a bargain box in the back, and the owner Chris had a conversation with her. It was great catching up with her. I hadn't been to her store in a while, and she had mentioned that this box was 50% off if it was had no bag and board on it. So I looked at this book, and these kind of Black, White, and Blood, Red, White, and Blue, all these kind of books, anthology books, they're big sellers for them. And I think it's just because if you like one artist in this book, you're bound to pick it up, even if you don't like the other 5 or 4. So they're hit or miss for me. The stories never really have lasting impact. I'm always picking up any kind of these anthologies just based on whatever artist it is I like. This particular one, I didn't track it as it came out. When did this come out? I think this came out early in the year. It's not that old. And there's actually something I wanted to talk about back issues, but I'll put a pin in it for now and just finish my thought on this. So it's not that old, but I was looking at who the artists were here that contributed to this particular anthology, and any kind of anthology miniseries or whatever, I'll always flip through just to look at the artists and see if I like any of them, and then I'll buy it if I like one, or I won't if I don't. And this one had a couple artists in it that I liked. So the first one was Peach Momoko, and she did this cover, which is great. And she also did a story in here called Assassin. And then the other artist was Kevin Eastman, who is of the other half of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the other creator. But him and Peter Laird created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So those two, seeing two of them in one book, I was like, okay, I'll check it out. Wasn't too into this first story, but it's kind of neat, the black, white, and red thing. They did this for, was it Blade or some vampire one? They did a black, white, and red anthology. So it's a gimmick. I get it. Even though the gimmicks are very obvious, like Blood Hunt's gimmick of doing the red band bloody version or whatever, if it's cool, I'll still pick it up. I won't poo-poo on it just because it's a gimmick. But I do like seeing Peach Momoko's work with a limited palette, even though she's a great colorist on her own work. She does watercolor colors in the other examples I've seen. But there's something cool about this limited palette that she does. I always like the watercolor work. It doesn't, in a world full of, or I should say, in a comic time period that is saturated with computer coloring and computer effects and realistic coloring, it's really refreshing to see somebody who has a hand touch traditional quality to their work. And hers is like that, like with these ink washes and the way that she colors. I think she does these all literally like watercolor on watercolor paper. And then the other thing that was awesome is a lot of her stories for these one-shot kind of things are dialogueless, probably because she doesn't want to deal with the translation. She's a Japanese artist. Maybe that's just her storytelling style of wordless. I've seen her kind of range between lots of dialogue and wordless stuff. And then the other thing is she kind of, and she does this, she did this with Demon Days, that whole series Demon Days with the X-Men characters, and even Ultimate X-Men now that she's working on that title. And I've reviewed those on past streams. She tends to inject this Japanese history, Japanese flavor into a modern day Western character. And so she does that for this Elektra story. It's like this samurai story, but it looked pretty cool. She's got this horror element, always adding in like a weird horror element to her stuff too. Mythical stuff. So yeah, I like the way that this solo story looked, and I haven't sat down and read it. Not that it takes long to read it, but it's cool. I like her exaggeration of Elektra, her take on Elektra, the look of Elektra is pretty awesome. And then the use of like the red highlights. So that was her story. And then this story, drawn by Kevin Eastman, totally looks like Kevin Eastman stuff. looks like he's drawing Casey Jones, like in that style. But I loved it. I thought it was cool layouts. He's got a gritty indie style and has always had, and it's very appealing. This is a nice layout, like going down the fire escape, fighting with this other, I don't know, is it like a doppelganger? Or is she just wrestling with herself, her own? Oh, she says a rendezvous with death. Okay, so it's like a personification of death. But yeah, this battle down this fire escape is awesome. It's cool layouts, cool fun panels, and I just love his hatching. His like, almost looks like a pentel pen hatching. It's great. And this really bloody end here. I love this kind of layout. This feels like TMNT right here. It's like the panels are built into the building a little bit, or framed by the building. I almost expected like the turtles to like jump out from behind the water tower and fight Elektra. That's cool. It's a great rendition of Elektra. Like, I've never seen him draw sexy girls like this necessarily. Like, you know, he draw April O'Neil, but never like a seductress like this. And that's a really cool drawing. So yeah, that was the reason I picked up this book. It was pretty cheap, bargain, but kind of cool find. All right, let's see. I'm gonna catch here. Congratulations, Jeremy Burt's getting modded. Wow, I hear the dryness clicking in my mouth. This reminds me, Rocky. Look forward to you reviewing Billy Tucci's She. I actually didn't get She. You know, I love Billy Tucci's work, and I love his independent spirit. I've never really connected with the character She. I don't know why. It's a good point. I should go back and read some of the original issues. I know he just released like a huge artist edition. I didn't back that, but I should. I should at least read it and see it. Adam says I'm a sucker for black and white and red comics. Yeah, me too. I love that limited palette. I created a show at the beginning of my career, and it was like a film noir inspired show, and I used only black, white, and red was the highlight. Oh, actually, that's true. I always had like one highlight color, but red often tended to be the color. But yeah, it was got that film noir vibe to it. But I love using limited palettes. It really makes you conscious of why you use a color and how you use the color, as opposed to I have every crayon in the crayon box. I can make any color possible, any subtle color possible. Like I'm all for like bold, intentional colors. Peach Momoko explains why I like the cover. Do you like Peach Momoko's work, Cranberry? Yeah, she's good, man. She's really good. I haven't continued to pick up that Ultimate X-Men because I didn't really like the story and the characters, but the artwork still looks cool. Peach's Marvel stuff is amazing. Her personal stuff is a little extreme for me. I haven't really looked at much of her personal stuff, but I'm assuming it's probably horror, weirdo. Like, I think that's just where her brain goes. Okay, let's see. Elektra is supposed to be an assassin. It makes more sense for her not to speak. Yeah. Fox is a Oni used a lot in Asian stories. Yes, that's right. Oni Fox. Wow. That was like a really straightforward comment there. Awesome one. Threw me off. And then we get this. Too late. John is now a Marxist. That fire escape page is gorgeous, amazing. Yeah, that one stood out for me when I opened up the book, so had to get that. Great environments. Blood looks great on Elektra. Yeah, it's a good one. Good one. I've seen some of. I think Eastman came out with there was a new book he came out with. I can't remember, and he did like covers for it recently. What was the name of that book? It had a weird name. But his artwork, I was like, it didn't look that great, but that looked awesome. That's the kind of Eastman work I love. Don't like the cover, but really like the inside art. Talk to my lawyer, Rocky's deep into comic law. Yes. Just joshing Sammy because she's like, okay. Horror weirdo should be a genre. I think there's a lot that belong in that genre. And John says, yeah, manga anime can get into rather dark and racy material rather needlessly too. It does. It can be very gratuitous at times. But I will say that, like, so for example, Ninja Scroll is, I've been meaning to watch that recently, but that one I remember as a kid watching that, and that is so gratuitous in so many different ways. But man, the artistry in that and the level of talent in that is top level. So yeah, regardless of the choices they make, the creative choices they make. Okay, so this book I picked up, wasn't expecting to pick up this book. And speaking of an animated style, the artist, Tommy Lee Edwards, it says, is the writer, and he himself is an artist. So that was like, whoa, okay. And Mad Cave Studios, they're producing, their name keeps coming up with books that they work on. But the reason I picked up this book was Mindy Lee is the artist on this book. I've crossed paths with her. She worked on a project that I was on just briefly. And after I crossed paths with her, I started following her on social media. So she has an X account, probably has an Instagram account. I haven't looked, but I followed her on X first. And she would do these like pinups and commissions. And she had this very cool anime-ish style to her work. A talented draftsperson. But as you can see from her work, and she did a comic book. Gosh, what was that comic book called? She did like a fill-in issue for something. So her website, Instagram, and probably her X account, it goes by Mindy Lee Doodles. But the comic book that she worked on, yeah, she does great character designs. She has her own website, Mindy Lee Doodles. What was the comic that she worked on? Dang. Can I do this? It'll be easier if I can just show you guys. Yes. This. Boom. Something like that. Yeah, this is okay. Okay. So this is her website. Whoops. And this is some of the work that she does. So really cool designs. You can tell she's worked in animation. Really gestural. Just great artist, great designer. Lots of style and pizzazz in her work. The comic book work stuff she did, I've never heard of that book called Beyond the Fringe, but she's had experience in comics. I can't even remember what comic it was that she worked on. Bounty, that was it. This stupid window. It's okay. You guys don't need to. I don't need to worry about showing you the Philip. But this was a comic she worked on called Bounty. But you can see that she has this like animation sort of style in her work. Very cool. So I didn't know that she was working on more comics until I saw this Gatchman book. And I thought, wow, that's actually a pretty perfect pairing for her style. Kind of has an anime influence and action, adventure. And Gatchman is a very, very popular property from Japan. These awesome costume designs. I remember this villain. What was this villain's name? I forgot. I totally forgot what the villain the name was. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Here's the Battle of the Planets Gatchaman. These guys are awesome. These are like the predecessors of like Power Rangers and Voltron. Really cool. She's got this very like animated finish to her stuff too, like the line work. Galactor. That's the name of the crazy villain. So yeah, that's cool. It picked up. This art style in particular looks very animated. Like you could see this as a cartoon. Is this the kind of style that I'm like excited about as a fan of comics? I like it. I like her style. I just don't know if it's like my favorite comic book style. Who did this cover? This cover looks like a Sienkiewicz cover, but I know it's not. Oh, this is Tommy Lee Edwards, who's the guy who wrote it. But yeah, he has this kind of painterly style. And he does... Sometimes his pen and ink work actually reminds me of John Paul Leon a little bit. You guys know how much I love John Paul Leon. So yeah, cool stuff. Interesting. I'll definitely take it a read. Wait a minute. What is going on? Ken Navarro? What's up? Ken Navarro in the house? All right, awesome one. Here you go. Welcome, meet Ken Navarro, one of the creators of Happy Tree Friends. He's here. He is alive. He's available for you to harass. What's up, Ken? My friend Awesome One here is always joking with me and always poking fun at me for... Oh, wait. Am I still in preview mode? Wait. Did you guys see... Oh, dang. Did I not switch to the right mode? Sorry. Did I not... Let me just double check. Go back to make them feel blah, blah, blah. Okay, did you guys see that? I don't know. Maybe I didn't switch in time. Anyway, Awesome One. Meet Ken. Ken, meet Awesome One. Yeah, one of the creators of Happy Tree Friends. We've got royalty in the chat right now. Ken also happens to be a huge comic nerd, way bigger nerd than I am about comics. So it's good to see you, Ken. I haven't talked to you in a while, but I'm happy to see you here. Did you go to the comic book store today? What comic book store do you go to, Ken? Oh, no, you're all digital now, right? I say with no judgment. We got to go hit up a comic book store together, brother. It would be really fun. Ken and Ken book coincidence. I felt the disturbance in the force. I heard people talking about Happy Tree Friends. He had to come back and defend. You guys should go follow Ken on social media. I hope you would you be okay with me sharing your Instagram, Ken, with everybody? Ken does some great drawings too. Lots of Happy Tree Friends stuff, but he does other great drawings as well. Let me know. I don't want to out you. Added that Elektra book to a wish list. Awesome. I like her landscapes, background. Speaking of old Japanese superhero and robot shows, lots are streaming now into YouTube. It's amazing what is available now as opposed to before when we were growing up. We had to... I just got it now. I just got it now. Awesome one. Oh my gosh. I am slow. I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep here, people. Yeah, it's amazing what is available on streaming and YouTube. I remember as a kid, we were sharing our like VHS copy of Akira around the neighborhood, and it would be like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. But we would cherish getting to watch those things. I remember that. I had like Tron was another one we would share. Michael Jackson's Thriller. We would share that videotape around. It's amazing. Cranberry Lander says, go back to your chat more often, Rocky, to make them feel more engaged. Do you guys not feel engaged? Sorry. Jeez. I'm trying. Then people say I look too much at the chat. I'm trying. Ken Navarro says, I came to talk about Dr. Doom. Oh, boy. That was the big announcement at Comic-Con. Ken, you didn't go to Comic-Con, did you? I know Rhodey did. I was talking to Rhodey a little bit. But you didn't go to Comic-Con. Or did you go to Comic-Con? But yeah, I saw that whole announcement. For those of you who don't know, RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., has been cast as Dr. Doom, which is crazy. Ken would be able to speak to this more, I'm sure, because he's way more into comics than I am, if you can believe it. But he keeps up with the timelines and has read all of them. But I know that there are some versions of Dr. Doom that are actually Iron Man, right? Tony Stark. So are they doing that? That's the question. It would make sense. But is that a multiverse Doctor Doom? I don't know. And they're kind of, I mean, the Marvel movies, the Marvel content has been not doing so great lately. Excuse me. So I can see this move of them hiring the Russo brothers, who they killed it with their rendition or their movies that they worked on, Winter Soldier and Endgame and Civil War. They killed it. They were incredible on those. Their direction was incredible. So hiring them back and then RDJ, like that's a bold move. But I was just laughing when I was watching those videos on social media of the announcement. Like, it was amazing. Like the crowd just went bananas when that was revealed. So yeah, Doctor Doom. I have no idea what to expect. Rocky is now Aldous with half-hour monologue. Sorry. No, we couldn't see any of that. All right. It was the book. I missed that preview. Yeah, I'll just flip through it really quick. This is this Mindy stuff. Animated style. Pretty cool. It's good. She's good. Really good. But it just goes back to that discussion we were having earlier of like animated style, like what do you do and do, like what means more, what has more impact. All right. Thanks, Rocky. Ken's not an incognito anymore. Well, you know, not here. Ken has asked Rocky how many deers and goats they have to try. Someone asked me how many deers and goats did I have to dress to prepare for Happy Tree Friends. Huge fan of the Battle of the Planets anime series. There we go. US version from what I was a kid. Loved Star Blazers, Spaceship Battle Yamamoto. Yes. Yep. You're not old, Mark. I'm right there in that same boat with you, dude. And that stuff was all awesome. Awesome. Ken Navarro is all digital. Boo. Ken, you want to see something cool? I don't know if you've watched the other streams. I'm going to assume not, because you're not my friend. But check it out, dude. I'm working on I'll do it this way. I'm working on a master copy of a Mike Zeck page. This is traditional, my friend. Look at that. Look at that ink. Huh? Look at that ink pooling there. Printed on Bristol. Come on, you can't get this with digital. You can't do this with digital. Come on, man. You can't tell me digital's better than that. Get out of town. Ken Navarro says, sure, I never post anything. All right, I'm going to make you a mod, Ken, and then you can. I'll put the power in your hands. I'm gonna make you a mod so that you can post a link in the chat. Post a link for your Instagram at least. But Ken never posts anything that's not true. Ken's a great artist. He just hides behind the idea that he's lazy or something. Ken's amazing. So good to see you here, Ken. Yep, John, I did it. I'm in the zone, people. We are wrenching whoever walks through this door. I'm Mr. Generous today. Then I'm going to take them all away later when I sober up. Okay. Dr. Iron Doom, that's right. I did not go to Comic-Con. Yeah. Those were good times. I've been at Comic-Con a few times when Ken was there. Ken, we got to go to... There's a few local shows happening, right? I heard Fan Expo is fun. I think there's something going on this weekend in Berkeley, but I can't make it. And then I think San Jose has one too. We should go. I want to go to smaller cons so that we can actually find artists and meet artists. I can watch all the Hall H kind of huge announcements online and not have to wait in line for that. But I want to go meet comic artists, find comic art I wouldn't find at a regular place. So let's go. I don't know, but I'm wasting a lot of time on them. MCU will continue to lose money even with RDJ and Russo brothers. Possibly. It's possibly. I don't know if anybody can drum up enough excitement. They probably can, but we'll see. I mean, they're not losing money on Deadpool right now, so I do want to see that movie and see how it is. Too many people associate him to Iron Man. That's why I'm wondering if they are going to just tie it into Iron Man being whatever it is. I don't know what the storyline is, but connected to Doctor Doom, because there is a version of that. But I never read those, so I don't really know what it is and if it will work with what they've set up so far. But yeah, we'll see. Is Tony and Doom still brothers in 616? See, that's a storyline I am not familiar with. Ken might be, though. I think they'll be basing it off of a more recent storyline with Doctor Doom saving the world multiverse. He becomes like God. Okay, maybe they're doing that. Who knows? Ken, ask Rocky where he got his brushes from. It is a lot of work. I just spent like 2 streams yesterday getting to that point. I penciled it traditionally, and then scanned it in, converted the lines to non-photo blue, and then now I'm doing the inking process. I want to take it all the way from scratch, from page to finished ink page, just as a master study. So I'm planning on doing that more on stream. So check them out. We spent, one of my streams, the last stream last night was like 3+ hours. It is a lot of work just to get a couple panels done, but it's awesome. It's so fun. It's a great cover, Cranberry. Yes. Okay, we'll talk about this in 1 second. I just don't want to get too far behind. Cherish Psalm says, it's very rare for me to be traditional for real nowadays. For real? Is that FR? Also, that master copy looks nearly identical to... Thank you. That's the goal. I mean, if you look closely, it's not anywhere near the original, but it's okay. We're just trying to learn from... I'm trying to learn from the comic book artists that I admire so much. Learn about the process and how they got to where they got, and hopefully in doing so, learn more about my own process so that I can produce my own comic book on stream. How about that? Ken says, I'm bad. Here comes the excuses, guys. I'm bad at social media. I have a video game addiction to feed. That is another thing that's what separates Ken and I. Ken is huge on games in general. But I don't waste my time on games. I've never really gotten into games. I'm just more of a comic movie kind of guy. Who knew Rocky could draw? I still don't know. Rocky's drunk from... Possibly. They took WonderCon away from us. They did. Boo, LA. Boo. Don't get addicted to Stardew Valley. I've heard about that game and I won't. The only thing I know about Berkeley is Berkeley University. Berkeley is the city that Berkeley University is in. It is. UC Berkeley. Very good college. And they've got fantastic... Ken, let's go to a comic book store in Berkeley. They've got great stores over there. Let's do that. That would be fun. What a con that you meet people and not spend hours to see people who don't care about you. What madness do you speak? Berkeley beef? Wow, I've never heard of Berkeley beef. Is that a thing? I've never heard of Berkeley beef before. My hand is already cramping up just hearing about all this. Ken. That's the point, man. No Control Z. That is the point. You've got to master the craft. You got to wrestle that brush to do what you need it to do. John says FR is for real. Okay, I'm on it. And Father John. I thought he was talking about the place. For real, I don't know if it's spelled Berkeley or something. No, you spelled it right the first time. There's an extra E in there. And I am talking about the place, Berkeley. Wee. I'm not reading that out. Oh my gosh. Careful. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right. We have to get Rhodey when he's in town. I'm telling you, I want to visit Al's Comics. So Al's Comics is like a historic comic book store in Stockton, right, Ken? Remind me if the story is, if I get the story right. But apparently, I guess that comic book store was written into the origin of Fantastic Four. And I think they're probably going to film some of the new Fantastic Four, or like have that in the movie just because of the history of that store. So that store is in Stockton, California, which is a ways away from where I am. But Rhodey, the other creator of Happy Tree Friends, is from Stockton. And he's a huge comic book nerd himself. And so we've been telling Rhodey, hey, Rhodey is the guy who created Pablo's Inferno, which I've shown on stream before, guys. So yeah, I've been trying to get Rhodey to get him on stream. And last I heard back from him, it was last week. So he was on his way of prepping, getting ready for Comic-Con, because he does a whole thing. He has a booth and everything. So he said afterwards he'll reach back out to me, I hope. But yeah, it would be awesome. We should do we should do a road trip to Al's Comics. I could do a video for Al's Comics. And where is that? Ken, can you send me the link? Let's practice your wrenching here. Can you put the link in the chat? Didn't you send me a link about the mayor of Stockton visiting Al's Comics? If you know what I'm talking about, can you put that in the chat? Because I would love to send that link out and possibly even watch it. It's really funny. Lack of sleep brings out the trolls. It's like all these people. What are you guys talking about? Oh my gosh. Berkeley beef and CalArts chicken are both well known. Oh my gosh. All right. Wow. Rocky can't stop himself from getting farther and farther behind. This is how we do it here. It's so efficient. All right. I picked up this book. I had no idea about this book. I'm very, very weary of this Venom, the Venom, just thread that all the Marvel book, like they're just throwing Venom in everything. The Venom version of this, the Venom version of this, Venom this, Venom that. It's just so much Venom, just because Venom sells and is a popular character, but it's just shoehorned into too many things. It just doesn't work, I don't think. And it takes away from, for me, the original character of Venom and his appearance and who he is in the Spider-Man universe. But whatever, that's me. That's old crotchety Rocky who didn't get into that stuff. But as I was looking through the shelves today, I thought, oh, that's a cool cover, just like Cranberry was saying, like cool cover, grabbed my attention. So I opened it up, and the first thing I'm always looking at is art style. Is it cool enough art style that it will make me want to pick up an issue? And it was. It's not what I expected as far as art styles. That the kind of standard, what I call the like Marvel house style right now. There's definitely a house style for like, I would say the current artist on like Daredevil, the Ultimate series. They definitely have this Marvel style, and DC has a house style also. They've always both companies tend to lean on their house style artists. A lot of the DC house style artists come from, or even Marvel, I'd say, come from either South America or Europe right now. So there's this like Euro flavor to their stuff. So that's what I expected out of this book. But surprisingly, like this drawing here, the rendition of Black Widow did not fit into what I was expecting for this style. It also might be the colors as well. Who was the colorist on this? I haven't heard of these color artists before. This artist, Luciano Vecchio, I believe has drawn on Daredevil. I could be mistaken. So yeah, it kind of, I was like, oh wow, that's cool. It's a cool rendition of, or maybe Vecchio's done cover art before that I've seen, but it was a cool rendition of Black Widow, and I really loved her face. Felt different than what I was expecting. And then this kind of panel layout's really cool, really like nice posing on the character. These sequences, colors are pretty bold with the reds. But in particular, her drawing, her face, Black Widow, really stood out to me. I'd almost say these feel more like house style Marvel right now. But her face felt different. There almost was like a Jay Lee quality to some of the ways that her face was drawn. Like especially this one right here feels like Jay Lee right here with this like spindly eyebrow, really like sharp features. So, but they have these cool layouts of each character of Winter Soldier and Nick Fury. That's awesome. That's a cool Spider-Woman. So yeah, I have no idea what this is about, but it was the artwork that sold me on trying out issue 1. If I like the story, I will probably keep picking it up. So cool on that. That's cool. Like, how cool is that? That's a really neat version or amalgamation of having the Spider and the Black Widow kind of combine into this Venom verse Black Widow. So pretty cool, huh? Oh my gosh. I almost picked up like, what was the one that just came out? Like, what if Donald Duck became Wolverine or something like that? I almost picked it up because I was like, this is so crazy. And the artwork wasn't bad, but I didn't pick it up. I may regret it. Or it might be one of those buys that seems funny at the time, but then afterwards you're like, why did I buy that? But I love this. This re-costuming of Black Widow is pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. So there you go. Sold me on it. Well done, artist. Grabbed me on Black Widow Venomous. Here it is. Here's the video. Visit Stockton, the Al's comic shop. I can't. How can I copy that? Oh shoot. Wait, I'll find it. Yep, sent the link. It's like the amount of Spider-Man. Am I the only one who doesn't like the amount of them? Yeah, there's a lot. There's way too many Spider versus Spider. Ever since Spider-Verse, there's just way too many. Like you can't keep track of them all. They're all like, if every, I think I said this on one of my reviews of Spider-Punk. It's like if everybody is the same, like in Spider-Punk's universe, everybody's punk. It's almost defeats the purpose of what punk is. So the same thing, if everybody is a Spider-Man or Spider-Verse or a version of Spider-Man, it's like, well then Spider-Man's not that special anymore, is he? I love the multitude of Spider-Men. I've got two sides to every coin in this chat. They are all separate characters though. They are, but they all have the similarities. You can make it, Rocky, and drag your crew of pals with a vast array of talent they possess. Yeah, Mark's music obsession, trying to get us to come to Pensacon so we can take a trip on his boat. That would be so cool, Mark. If I could make it happen, I would. That would be really cool, though. His Black Widow looks awesome. Great panel designs, yeah. Perhaps I'm alone on this, Cheris Psalm says. I heard only one person say the same thing. I find it sort of annoying. John, exactly. Rocky won't even have to go to the beach. There we go. We could just be on the boat all the time. On your boat. Art is reminiscent of Ed McGuinness. This one? I felt like Ed McGuinness. I love Ed McGuinness. His characters were always like chunky. Like they're always like thick. Like yeah, just chunky people. And there's a little bit more elegance. At least definitely in the female drawings that he did. There's a lot more elegance there. The men in that one image I pointed out that I said I felt like it was Marvel House style. That did feel a little Ed McGuinness-ish. Yeah, like these kind of square jaws. But that's cool. I don't know about this robot, but herself, it's a pretty cool combo. Rocky was too lazy to pick it up. I just saved my money. The M&M was the selling point. That's right. That ad always comes up. That's got to be one of the worst ads ever. Horrible, horrible designs. Those M&Ms. I know they're iconic, but the horrible designs. Use YouTube chat. Yeah, I know. It's just that the YouTube chat, to get that link, YouTube chat is a little bit behind. Oh, here. Okay. No, it was a stupid cat video. Ken is a lover of cats. Please, people, do not trigger that into him sending links. If anybody is going to send cat video links, it's going to be Ken. Okay, cool. I found it. Let's see if I can get this. How long is this video? All right, this video is only 2 minutes long. Let's do it. If I can move this here. And then I got to remember to publish my preview. Otherwise, I feel like Ecamm has not given, I need to give some feedback to Ecamm about their preview mode, because that one always trips me up. I don't know. I don't notice if I'm in preview mode or not. And then I forget to publish it and blah, blah. So let's see. Is this a good window size? I feel like that's not a good window size. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Let me just figure this out. Share screen? No. No, that's not what I want to do. Source link. All right. I'm going to go in preview mode so you don't have to see me Actually, no. I'm going to go into this mode. Am I still in live mode? Live. All right. And then I'll go into preview mode. So then I'm going to figure this out. And this. No. This. And this. Okay. It's not as easy. It's not like StreamYard super easy to like share my screen necessarily. I mean, it can be if I have it set up right, but I didn't have it totally set up right. So, all right, that. Oh no, was that the right one? Here we go. That, this, and then what do I gotta do with this? This. And I guess just make it bigger. Because it's not filling the screen properly. That's good enough. And then put this camera here. Whoops. Stop. All right. Boom. Okay. Now publish. Live mode. Okay. So this is that thing. And then give some volume. All right. Let me know if you can hear this when I start playing. Is that too loud?
Hi there, I'm Kevin Lincoln, Mayor of Stockton, asking you to sign the petition to bring the filming of Marvel's next blockbuster to our city, Stockton, California. This great city has gone by different names and titles over its 174 years. But did you know that one of those titles is birthplace of the Fantastic Four? Back in 1986, thanks to a petition led by Al Greco and Joe Field, Stan Lee and Marvel Comics named Stockton, California, the birthplace of the Fantastic Four. In fact, Stan Lee himself stood at City Hall for a ceremony and proclaimed it. And afterward, he came right here to Al's Comics on the Miracle Mile for a meet and greet. Later that year, Stockton was featured in Volume 1, Issue 296 of the Fantastic Four comic series as the origin of the Mighty Foursome. As Marvel Studio prepares to produce an upcoming Fantastic Four movie, we here in Stockton think it's only right that Stockton be featured in the film. Why Stockton, you may ask? We say, why not Stockton? Stan Lee once said that Marvel is a reflection of the world right outside our window, a home for all people in all stories, no matter their race, gender, religion, or color of their skin. Stockton, named the most diverse city in the nation, lives up to Marvel's stance. Our community is excited for the opportunity to expand our existence in the Marvel Universe and onto the big screen. So, what do you say, Marvel Studios? Let's bring the MCU to Stockton with the Fantastic Four.
Did you guys hear that? Okay. What is going on in the chat? Hang on a second. What the heck is going on? I was just tracking the chat a little bit and I'm like, what? What are you guys talking about? All right, let me catch up here. Did some sort of troll come in here? Who is this crazy person? So Mr. Dragon, what in the heck happened? That's my first troll. That's messed up. Thought it was Mr. Dragon, but someone just pushing their channel. Weird guy. Be careful who you moderate from now on. So was it Mr. Dragon? Mr. Dragon, are you out there? You are out there. I didn't modify the other person. Wow, that was crazy. What in the heck just happened? I think, you know what? Bravo, freaking bravo, mods. You guys were on it without me even noticing it. And that is why you guys are mods. It actually paid off. Yay. That was really weird. Mr. Dragon wasn't around while the other Mr. That was weird. Mr. Dragon, are you real? Can we trust you, Mr. Dragon? Please tell me we can. Because, yeah, we don't want to flush you down the toilet. And I don't think you are who that person was. But that was really weird. Yeah, I'm confused too. Chat Ninja, were you awake when this happened? Someone said, I checked his channel. He seemed to be trying to get clicks commenting on Mr. Beast. Oh, please. Mr. Dragon is a sussy baka tried to frame Mr. Dragon. Yeah, that was really confusing. I was like, what is going on? I was trying to get the Stockton thing working, which I don't know if you guys even watched it or heard it, but that was it. But thank you, everyone. All you guys who just jumped in there and just started figuring it out for me. That is why you guys are part of the mod squad. So well done. Well done. All right, let's get back to what we were doing just now. Okay, so that was Black Widow. Boom. And the last book, was this the last book I picked up? It is. This is the one Adam was asking about. Blood Hunt number 5 of 5 just came out. So this is the last issue of Blood Hunt. Not the Blood Hunt crossover, all the crossover books. Those are all still, some of them are still going on. But this is the last of the actual Blood Hunt. Both the regular edition and the explicit edition, as I've consistently got both of those. So, as is fun when I've done it the last time, is to compare the two versions and see what's different and how did I waste money on the explicit version versus the real version. Speaking of Doom, I don't think this is an accident that on the first page of this book, Dr. Doom is here. You know what's kind of crazy? Oh, I think it's just a printing thing. But this this Doom on this side, you can kind of see it. Excuse me. You can kind of see it on the stream. This Doom on this side is a little bit darker, so he's more in shadow than this Doom. I don't think that's intentional. I think it was just the print quality, because I'm looking at like her shadow and it's a little bit darker than it is on this page. But that's an amazing Dr. Doom right there. So cool. I love the asymmetric hood. What is going on? Another person is jumping in. Wow, this is crazy. Thank you, mods. Thank you for being on top of it. I trust you all. I hope that this is not tied to our friend Mr. Dragon here. But there is a lot of chaos going on in the chat surrounding your handles, so we'll work it out. But thank you, mods, that are taking care of it for me. Adam says, I'm interested how different these two are. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the other videos I've done or have picked up the issues yourself. I'm going to hide my face here so you can see the whole thing. But there are some differences. I would say, not knowing what, we're going through this issue right now, but issue 1 probably has the most difference between the two. And I'd say it was worth it to get both versions. But each subsequent version kind of lessened the amount. So what they would do is they would change some panels and make them quote unquote more bloody or more gory, or they would add in like they would change some characters or some posing in certain panels, or they would add in completely new pages. Usually the explicit version would have like an extra page or two of totally different artwork. But what they considered explicit and inexplicit was always never, didn't totally make sense to me, because they would show some stuff that was really explicit and it would be in the regular version as well. I know there was one time they were taking out some content that had to do with certain regions. So I don't know, like different countries. Both of these pages look identical. Very cool. Love Pepe Larraz's artwork. These like that's not considered explicit. I mean, I guess because it's vision, but that's pretty explicit to me. I'm surprised that it's identically the same in the explicit version and the non-explicit version. These are the same. These are the same. Oh ho ho. Doctor Strange combining with Doctor Doom, since they're both doctors. This is the same. Even these dead bodies here, still there. This is the same. Okay, we have not hit on a change yet. These are the same. Same. They better put something different in here. Cool Moon Knight. Every version of the character that Pepe Larraz draws is really good. He's just a good artist. These are the same. These are the same. We have not hit anything different yet. Maybe that spread's going to be different. I have a feeling that spread's going to be different. These are the same. This page, this is different. Okay, finally. So this one's a double page spread of gore. This is the explicit version. And this is a single page of gore. And they included the single page here. So they just inserted that double page right here in between these two moments, because these are the same. And then these are the same. I think Pepe Larraz is the guy to hire when you need like multiple characters all fighting each other. He was the artist on Big Game. One of the artists, or was it the whole series of Big Game? But he was one of the artists on Big Game. This is the same. Is it only that double? That would be lame if it's only that double page spread. This is the same. So, added a new page in between here and here. It's this page, which it's not that. It's not that explicit. All right, what is going on with the chat? Adam says, Adam's keeping it like, he's keeping it calm. Dr. Doom is my favorite villain. Meanwhile, we're seeing all these like random curse words and stuff. All right, I'm gonna unmod Mr. Dragon. We're having some issues here, Mr. Dragon, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to put you in timeout, Mr. Dragon. I'm getting recommendations from the old chat, and I trust my chat, so putting you in timeout, dude. Yeah, 30 minutes later. Odd timing for one person to show up and there be an increase of something. Maybe I'm overthinking the situation. No, I don't think you are. You guys are awesome. All dragons are Mr. Dragon. Wow, that's so insidious. Like, he appeared a few chats ago, or a few streams ago. I guess that's how it is. It's smart for them to do that. But oh well, that's why I was mod happy today, because I had a premonition that we would need full force of the mod squad to pop in there. Everybody's calling it out. That's too bad. Too bad. Colors again are awesome and eye-catching. Yep, true. Yep, I did. Mr. Dragon spam in the chat. I did. 30 minutes later, I did. Yeah, a whole new page. I mean, I think that they try and keep the same general story, but you know, there are some key moments that they're making part of the explicit version or whatever. He's a kid. Joe's trolling. Come on, Mr. Dragon. Creating multiple accounts. All right. So, John, we're going to have to cool off on our modding, right? Right? We're going to have to cool off on our modding. Only the reals, for reals people here. See? What was it? What was it about? Did you guys all smell it early on and I didn't see it? Oh man. I thought we were just that was just what we were supposed to do. John was encouraging me to just mod people. I thought that was the thing. Wait, did they have that page? Oh, they did. Okay, let's finish up here. This is the same. I can't imagine anything more explicit happening at the end of this book. So what was there's like three extra pages. That's kind of lame. That's cool. Beautiful drawing here. Beautiful Doom, Doctor Strange, Miles Morales, Sunset. Here it comes. They're setting it up. Setting up Doctor Doom. So yeah, it was three different pages. Yeah, I was definitely suckered by the gimmick on Blood Hunt. If I were to do it all again, would I do it? Nah, just probably for the first issue maybe. But not for all of them. It's a lot of extra money, but oh well. Live and learn. Just like not modding everybody. Wait, this is so weird. I thought so. I'm going to go back and watch my old streams and see if he made any sincere comments. It felt like it did, but oh, it's a bummer. Same picture on several accounts, same name as the big giveaway. Uh-huh. You're just super nice, Rocky. That's why we are here. Thank you, Mark. I like all the detective work being done here. I look forward to the Netflix. Ken Navarro. No, truer words have not been spoken. Wow, what an exciting day that was. I got lost in the chat, making new mods, banning our first fake mod. Boy, that was a little insidious there, waiting in the wings, Mr. Dragon was. And if you're watching this, Mr. Dragon, even though you're banned, dude, don't do that. That's uncool. What's the point of that? You're not going to gain anything but a bunch of people just like, boo, boo for you. So I don't know what you need to get that kind of attention what you're lacking in life to get that attention to try and cause havoc in a chat if that brings you a little rise, but like it's lame, dude. Don't do that. Find some better time. Go read some comics. Like be like the cool kids. Go read some comics. Go draw something cool. Don't spend your time trolling in chats. That's lame. I've got too good of mods for that to get very far, so don't do that. It'll be a very short series, Ken Navarro. It's so true. If I had bought both of these, I'd be really upset. Yeah, I'd say the first one was probably the best one, where you can really feel the difference. Because they would do some subtle changes in each panel. Or not each panel, but more panels than that. And it's a hefty price tag. For the explicit version is $6. You know, the regular version's $5. So that's $11 right now for 2 copies of the same book. I kind of feel like they trolled us a little bit, and they should have gone all out on that last issue and given more differences between the two, in my opinion. That's a little hard when you have to keep the same story thread. I can understand that, but yeah, it was a little bit of a bait and switch. I'm exhausted. Me too. I'm moving up in YouTube because I got trolls now. Is that why? Maybe. That's okay. Comes part and parcel with the attention, I guess. Now we got young, immature, hopefully young, immature, if not old, immature people noticing the channel just to try and get in. But it's okay. I'll take it. If that means I get to meet all of you guys who are authentic, who do really want to be here and are fighting for the channel as much as I am in the chat, then, and I get a bad apple every now and then, like Ken Navarro, so be it. This is part of YouTube, Rocky. It is. I embrace it. Rocky has hit the big time. Trolls happen. Gotta beware. Don't blame me. I didn't encourage that. No, I don't blame you, John. You are not. You're the anti-troll. So no, I don't blame you at all. Mr. Dragon waited long. Yeah, that was he played the long game a little bit. I mean, it wasn't that long. Maybe Mr. Dragon showed up, I don't know, last week or something, but it was a lot quicker than a lot longer than I had expect for a troll. Just kind of lied in waiting and then like popped out, like pulled his pants off, and then that was it. And we're like, ah, oh, geez. Me, Ken, he's talking about me. No, I'm talking about this guy, Ken Navarro. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Old and mature and immature? Absolutely. There's a classy way to troll, and then there's kids who act like this. Classy way to troll, really? Huh. I hope I don't really learn that either. Yeah, they do that. That's Utes. It's the Utes, people. It's the Utes. All right. Well, that was a fun Wednesday. I've got a lot of drawing to do on that page, but I'm very excited to jump back into it. I probably will be doing, I don't think I'll do another, will I do another draw stream between now and the end of the week? Maybe. That's a maybe with a lowercase m. Whether I have the energy to do, I do have to rest a little bit. That dull ache that I had behind my eyes has now increased to the rest of my head. But I do have to rest a little bit. Probably have to go to bed a little earlier tonight. Maybe I'll watch some Olympics. I love me some Olympics. But I do still want to continue drawing on it. So I might draw off stream on it a little bit. Don't be surprised if the next time you see that page, it's a little farther than when it left off. But I can imagine I might have like I said, lowercase maybe, might have another stream, draw stream for that. It probably be in the evening, another evening other than tonight. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But it's been really fun. It's been fun doing multiple streams, just getting to see you guys multiple times. Please like and subscribe this stream so that we can attract more immature trolls. But we are slowly climbing. Where are we at? 268. If I ban Mr. Dragon, it might be less. 267. 267. Maybe that's what happened. He dropped off. He was the 268. But please like and subscribe just so we can get more eyeballs on this content and more content. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for more fun to happen. Really enjoyed having you all here. Most of you guys showed up to my other previous streams yesterday, so the dedication is unparalleled. But I really appreciate it. It's so much more fun with you guys and just sharing all the comic stuff with you. Great discussion on that too. That's all I got. John says, don't be drawing, cheating on us. Don't leave us. That's like what I said yesterday. Don't leave me. At like 3 a.m. Don't leave me. Yeah. Let's see. Enjoyed the stream. I thank you, Cranberry Langers. I enjoyed it too. Trolls can go elsewhere. Get out of here, troll. Thanks, Rocky in chat. Jeff Darrow for next. I'm gonna have to unmod you for saying that, Adam. That would kill me, but it will be fun. All right, everybody. I'll take it easy. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you soon.